Have you ever wondered what happens to the millions of tons of fruit and vegetables after they are harvested? They're not just sent straight to fresh markets. Most of them are brought into processing plants, where an elaborate journey begins to transform them into canned goods or convenient food ingredients. Now let's take a look at how factories process millions of tons of produce into ready-to-eat food. Potato chips are a familiar and beloved snack around the world. But have you ever asked yourself how those crispy golden slices are made? After arriving at the factory, the potatoes go through a thorough cleaning process using rollers. During this stage, small rocks, soil and leaves are removed, leaving behind a clean and flawless potato. They are then steamed for around 10 seconds to soften the skins, which are peeled off by specialized machines. Next, the potatoes are rinsed again and manually inspected to remove any that are rotten, green, or still have bits of skin left. The clean potatoes are sliced using either high-pressure water jets that push them through blades or rotating cutters. Each slice is then scanned by automated sensors and any imperfect pieces are removed. Next, the slices are moved into large fryers where they are cooked in vegetable oil for around 2 minutes. Once out of the fryer, excess oil is drained through small holes and conveyor systems. Finally, the chips are weighed and packed into bags, ready to be distributed to the market. Instead of shipping sugarcane across the globe, the milling process begins right where the cane is grown in places like Florida, Louisiana, or Texas. Upon arrival at the factory, the sugarcane is chopped into tiny pieces. These pieces are then passed through a series of specialized roller mills designed to extract the sugary juice from the fibrous stalks. The juice is pumped into sealed vacuum boilers where it's boiled under reduced pressure to evaporate the water and form raw sugar crystals. Once the raw crystals are collected, they are sent to a refinery for further processing. There, the raw sugar is dissolved into a thick syrup which then passes through special filters to remove its natural brown color and any remaining impurities. The clear syrup is boiled once more in vacuum pans to form pure white sugar crystals. These crystals are placed into centrifuges for a final separation from the syrup. Finally, the sugar is dried, cooled, sorted by size, and packaged into bags for shipment. In the state of Minnesota, hundreds of truckloads of corn are delivered to processing plants each year. The corn is removed by conveyor belts to the husking machines. These machines use multiple counter-rotating rollers to quickly remove the husks and silks from the ears in just a few seconds, leaving clean, bare corn cobs. The cobs then drop into a chute where they are lined up neatly before entering the kernel removal machine. As they pass through, sharp blades slice off the kernels in an instant. These kernels are then transferred into a rotating drum which separates any large debris that's not corn. The blanching process takes place in a large cylinder where a screw conveyor pushes the kernels through a heat treatment. After that, the corn is placed into leak-proof cans. Thousands of cans of various sizes are sent to the filling station where a solution of water, salt and sugar is added to complete the mixture. The next step is sterilization. This is done in an oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for around 46 minutes. It's a crucial step to ensure food safety and preserve product quality for up to 18 months. Finally, the cans are labeled with product and company information before being packaged and shipped out. Each year, the United States consumes around 4 billion pounds of pickles. But, how are those crunchy, tangy cucumbers actually made into pickles? Well, the pickle making process starts with carefully selected fresh cucumbers that are uniform in size and shape. They're then thoroughly washed to remove any dirt and debris. After that, the cucumbers are cut into the desired lengths and placed into large fermentation tanks. Salt is added, and the tanks are filled with water to fully submerge the cucumbers. This salty brine helps prevent spoilage and extends shelf life. The tanks are kept in a cool place for several days to allow natural fermentation to occur. Microorganisms on the cucumber's skin break down natural sugars and convert them into acid, giving the pickles their signature tangy flavor and crunch. Once fermentation is complete, The pickles are removed and rinsed to eliminate excess salt and acid before being packed into glass jars. After jarring, the pickles are sterilized to kill any remaining bacteria. The jars are then labeled with a detailed ingredient list, production dates, expiration dates, and manufacturing locations. After all that, they're ready to be distributed to stores and food suppliers. Fresh tomatoes are first washed with water and run through channel systems to remove dirt, rocks, and impurities. They're then transferred to bubbling tanks for deeper cleaning before moving on to an automated sorting line, where damaged or unripe tomatoes are discarded. Next, the tomatoes are dipped in hot water to soften the skins, which are then removed by machines. After a final rinse, the good tomatoes are chopped with stainless steel blades and sent to grinders to be pureed. The puree is filtered to remove seeds and leftover skins, then transferred to large steam-heated kettles for cooking. Meanwhile, onions and garlic are sautéed in oil to create a flavorful base, then mixed with the tomato puree along with salt, sugar, vinegar and spices. The mixture is simmered for around 20 minutes to blend the flavors. The tomato sauce is then sterilized by heating to high temperatures to destroy bacteria. It's quickly cooled and then moved to packaging areas. Automatic fillers pour the sauce into pre-cleaned aluminum cans, which are sealed in a steam-filled chamber to prevent oxygen from entering. Finally, the cans are labeled, boxed, and ready for distribution. After harvest, grapes are transferred to the crushing tank. Here, an elevator feeds the grapes into a receiving hopper, which leads to the de-stemming and crushing system. This machine kind of mimics traditional grape stomping, applying just enough pressure to break the skins without crushing the seeds, which helps prevent bitterness. The juice and grape solids are then pumped into fermentation tanks for around 10 to 14 days, depending on the type of wine being made. A spraying system is activated twice a day to moisten the cap of grape solids that floats to the top. This helps to ensure even fermentation. This process also extracts color and flavor from the grape skins. Throughout fermentation, winemakers regularly taste and monitor the wine to make adjustments. Once it meets the desired standard, the wine is drained from the tank. Next, the wine is aged in toasted oak barrels, which not only add a woody flavor, but also support the malolactic fermentation process. This stage transforms tart malic acid, like you find in green apples, into soft lactic acid, like in milk, making the wine taste smoother and rounder. After about a year, the wine is tested again before bottling commences. The bottling stage begins with oxygen being removed from the bottles. Then the wine is dispensed in precise volumes with machines capable of filling hundreds of bottles per minute. Finally, an automated system seals each bottle with a cork to perfect precision. When bananas arrive at the processing facility, workers begin by washing them. Only firm green bananas are selected. These are less sweet and ideal for slicing and frying. To preserve quality and extend shelf life, the bananas are quickly chilled in cold water tanks. This step slows down ripening and helps to maintain firmness. The climate and fertile red basaltic soil provide ideal conditions for pineapple cultivation. During harvest, farmers use sharp knives to cut the fruit close to the base, keeping a short stem to prevent juice from leaking. Once picked, the pineapples are gently placed in trays or baskets before being quickly transported to the sorting station. Indonesian pineapples are mainly exported to the European Union, Japan, China, and the United States. In addition to fresh fruit, canned pineapples and pineapple juice make up a significant portion of the country's export revenue from pineapples. Hand harvesting allows farmers to pick the fruit at the right ripeness, preserving the outer skin and avoiding denting the eyes, which is an essential requirement in exporting whole pineapples. Properly harvested fruit retains its sweetness, crunchiness, and fragrance throughout the shipping process. Brazil is the largest orange producer in the world, yielding around £35.7 billion annually. The state of São Paulo alone accounts for over 75% of the country's total output and plays a central role in the global citrus industry. Oranges are mainly harvested by hand. Workers gently twist the fruit off the stem using their hands. For fruit on tall trees, aluminum ladders are used. Though the process is fast and efficient, great care is taken to avoid tearing the peel. Manual harvesting helps preserve the fruit's shape, keeps the skin intact, and maintains the juiciness and natural sweetness. Picking at the right level of ripeness also helps to reduce post-harvest losses and extends shelf life. Did you know that Spain produces over 2 billion pounds of watermelon each year? It is also the world's largest exporter of watermelon, supplying large volumes to European markets such as Germany, France, and the Netherlands. So how do Spanish farmers harvest watermelons? The harvest season typically runs from June to August. When the fruit is ripe, the tendrils near the stem turn brown, the skin loses its shine, and tapping the fruit produces a deep, hollow sound. Farmers use knives to cut each fruit from the vine, then pass them along a human chain across the field, forming a manual harvesting line. The watermelons are neatly laid out in rows for preliminary inspection, before being loaded onto trucks waiting at the edge of the field for transport to packing centers. Tomatoes are consumed globally with high demand, especially in the processing industry for sauces, tomato paste, and other canned products. China is the world's leading tomato producer with an annual yield of around 134 billion pounds, primarily from regions like Xinjiang, Hebei, and Shandong. In large-scale commercial farms, particularly those growing tomatoes for processing, farmers use specialized harvesting machines. These machines harvest entire plants and use a shaking mechanism to separate ripe tomatoes from the stems efficiently. The tomatoes are then manually sorted to remove any damaged, cracked or underripe fruit before being transferred via conveyor belts into a large collection bin. In the United States, apples are mostly harvested in the fall from late August to early November, depending on the variety and growing region. Apples are handpicked to avoid bruising, usually by lifting and twisting gently to keep the stem intact. Harvesters carry picking bags worn on their chest, which are emptied into large collection bins. The United States is the second largest apple-producing country in the world, with an annual output of around 10 billion pounds. Washington State stands out as the country's top apple-producing region, accounting for around 65% of national production. Other key apple-producing states include New York, Michigan, and California. Now let's explore the impressive papaya harvesting process in India. India is the world's largest papaya producer, harvesting around 13.8 billion pounds each year. The main growing regions are in Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, where the hot and humid climate allows papayas to grow year-round. Papayas are harvested when their skin begins to shift from green to pale yellow. The surface is smooth and taut, and a faint aroma is present. Farmers use small knives or simply twist the stem by hand before gently placing the fruit into padded baskets to avoid bruising. Papayas are delicate, easily scratched, and prone to sap leakage, so gentle handling is essential. Some large farms even sort the fruit right in the field before sending it to packaging centers. Now, let's move on to a visually striking and widely enjoyed fresh fruit, the plum. Since plums are highly sensitive to bruising and quality loss from impact, farmers usually harvest them in the early morning while it's still cool. In Spain, plums are harvested entirely by hand from June to August. When the skin turns deep red or golden yellow, the surface is glossy and the fruit yields slightly to pressure. Workers gently twist each plum off the stem and place it into padded crates to prevent damage. Spain is one of Europe's key plum producers, with an annual output of around $371 million. Plums are amongst Spain's major fruit exports, generating around $270 million annually for local farmers. Japanese peaches are famous worldwide for their delicate sweetness, fragrant aroma, and juicy texture. Considered a premium gift, Japan harvests around 287 million pounds of peaches annually, mainly from July to early September. So, how are peaches harvested in Japan? Before picking, farmers gently lift and feel each fruit to check its firmness and skin tension, signs that it has reached its peak freshness. When harvesting, they carefully twist the fruit with both hands and lift it off the branch, minimizing any risk of dropping or scratching. Each peach is then placed in a soft padded tray, never stacked, and immediately moved to a cool storage area to preserve freshness. Pears are a specialty fruit of Italy, especially in the Emilia-Romagna region. Often called the pear capital of Europe, Italy produces over 1.5 billion pounds of pears annually, with popular varieties like the Abate Fidel, Williams and Conference. The ideal harvest time is when the fruit reaches its standard size. The skin turns a light yellow and, a gentle aroma develops, as well as the firmness being just right. Farmers pick each pear by hand, using a light twist to detach the fruit without damaging branches or causing leaves to fall. This is especially important for younger, more fragile trees. Proper harvesting ensures the pears retain their smooth skin, crisp texture, and consistent sweetness, qualities that help Italian pears meet the demands of high-end global markets. Mexico is the world's top avocado producer with an annual yield of around 5.6 billion pounds. Avocado harvesting requires precision and skill. Since avocados do not fully ripen on the tree, they are picked when they reach the right size, have a darkened skin and a firm stem. Harvesters use clippers to cut the stem, never pulling by hand, as the remaining stem helps extend the ripening time post-harvest. For taller trees, workers use long poles fitted with blades to catch bugs and prevent the fruit from falling. After cutting, the avocados are carefully placed into padded trays or cloth-lined bins to avoid bruising. India also leads the world in guava production, with an estimated 23.1 billion pounds harvested annually. Key growing regions include Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Maharashtra, where white and red guava varieties thrive thanks to the tropical climate and fertile alluvial soil. Guavas are primarily hand-picked with great care. When the fruit changes from deep green to light green or slightly yellowish, farmers twist them off the stem. After harvesting, guavas are layered in baskets lined with banana leaves or soft fabric to prevent bruising. Picking usually takes place in the early morning to preserve the fruit's freshness and natural crunch. India is also the world's top jackfruit producer, with an estimated annual output of 3.3 billion pounds. Major growing states are Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, where humid tropical weather and red soil provide ideal conditions for large, fragrant jackfruits. Jackfruits are harvested entirely by hand. When the segments inside begin to swell, the skin changes from green to yellowish and, a mild aroma is noticeable. Harvesters use a sharp knife to cut the fruit at the stem. One person holds the fruit while the other cuts, preventing it from falling and getting damaged. This method keeps the outer skin intact and prevents sap from spreading, ensuring the inner flesh remains undamaged. That's especially important when selling whole jackfruit for export or fresh markets.